Chapter 1: The Desolate Lands. In the northern reaches of Europe, where the earth seemed to tremble under the weight of its own desolation, lay the stark and unforgiving landscape of Iceland. Here, amidst the jagged peaks of snow-capped mountains and the endless expanse of icy tundra, existed a realm untouched by the comforts of civilization. It was a land of solitude and isolation, where only the hardiest of souls dared to tread. At the heart of this desolate wilderness, hidden away from the prying eyes of the world, dwelled a figure shrouded in mystery and fear, Hans of Iceland. Tall and imposing, with sinewy muscles rippling beneath his coarse fur cloak, Hans cut a formidable figure against the backdrop of the harsh Icelandic landscape. His hair, a tangled mass of unkempt locks, whipped wildly in the biting wind, while his piercing blue eyes seemed to hold within them the secrets of 1,000 storms. To those unfortunate enough to cross his path, Hans was a figure of terror and dread. Tales of his fearsome deeds spread like wildfire throughout the remote villages that dotted the Icelandic countryside, striking fear into the hearts of all who heard them. Some whispered that he was a demon sent from the depths of hell to wreak havoc upon the mortal realm, while others claimed he was a vengeful spirit cursed to wander the earth for all eternity. But amidst the rumors and superstitions that surrounded him, the truth about Hans of Iceland remained shrouded in darkness. Few dared to approach him, and those who did often met with a swift and brutal end. It was said that his very presence cast a shadow over the land, turning the once vibrant landscape into a barren wasteland where nothing could thrive. Yet for all his fearsome reputation, there were those who believed that Hans was more than just a monster. They spoke of a man haunted by the ghosts of his past, driven to the brink of madness by the injustices he had suffered. They whispered of a soul tormented by grief and despair, seeking solace in the solitude of the wilderness. But as the winds howled and the mountains echoed with the mournful cries of the lost, Hans remained a solitary figure amidst the desolate lands of Iceland. His true nature hidden behind a mask of fear and uncertainty, he stood as a testament to the harsh realities of life in a world untouched by mercy or compassion. And though his story was yet to be written, the legend of Hans of Iceland would echo through the ages, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked within us all. Chapter 2: The Legend Spreads. In the quaint villages and bustling towns scattered across the countryside, whispers of the enigmatic figure known as Hans of Iceland echoed through the narrow streets and crowded marketplaces. With each passing day, the legend of this fearsome character grew, fueled by the imaginations of those who dared to recount his terrifying exploits. It began with a humble farmer, his weathered face etched with lines of age and wisdom, who spoke of a chance encounter with the towering figure in the heart of the wilderness. With trembling hands and a voice choked with fear, he recounted how Hans had emerged from the shadows like a spectre from the depths of hell, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity that sent shivers down his spine. As word of this encounter spread from village to village, the legend of Hans of Iceland took on a life of its own, growing more elaborate with each telling. Soon, tales of his superhuman strength and ferocious temper were spoken of in hushed tones around flickering hearth fires, sending chills down the spines of even the bravest souls. But it was not just his physical prowess that struck fear into the hearts of those who heard his name. There were whispers of dark sorcery and forbidden rituals, of ancient curses and demonic pacts that bound Hans to the very earth itself. Some claimed to have seen him communing with the spirits of the dead, while others spoke of his ability to control the elements themselves, bending them to his will with a mere gesture of his hand. As the legend spread beyond the borders of Iceland, it reached the ears of those in positions of power and authority. In the grand halls of the king's court, noblemen and courtiers alike whispered of the mysterious figure who roamed the desolate lands of the north, his name spoken in hushed tones lest he hear and descend upon them like a wrathful god. Intrigued by the tales of this enigmatic figure, the king himself took an interest in the legend of Hans of Iceland. Summoning his most trusted advisers, he ordered them to gather information on this mysterious character, determined to uncover the truth behind the rumors that had captured the imaginations of his subjects. Among those tasked with investigating the legend was Sigurd, a young nobleman known for his bravery and resourcefulness. With a heart filled with courage and a mind sharpened by years of study, Sigurd set out on a perilous journey into the heart of the wilderness, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend of Hans of Iceland. But little did he know that his quest would lead him down a path fraught with danger and deception, where the line between myth and reality blurred and the true nature of Hans of Iceland remained shrouded in darkness. As Sigurd ventured deeper into the unknown, he would soon come face to face with the terrifying reality of the legend he sought to unravel, and discover that some mysteries were better left untouched. Chapter 3: The Encounter. In the heart of the desolate Icelandic wilderness, where the rugged mountains met the endless expanse of icy tundra, Sigurd, the brave young nobleman, ventured forth on his quest to uncover the truth behind the legend of Hans of Iceland. With each step he took, the icy wind whipped at his cloak, and the frozen ground beneath his feet seemed to groan in protest at his intrusion into its ancient domain. Guided by rumors and half-truths, Sigurd pressed on, his determination unwavering in the face of the unknown. As he journeyed deeper into the wilderness, the air grew thick with anticipation, and the very earth seemed to tremble with the weight of his purpose. Then, at last, he reached the remote village where Hans was said to dwell, a place of eerie silence and foreboding shadows, where the very air seemed to hum with the echoes of long-forgotten tales. With a heart filled with trepidation, Sigurd ventured forth into the heart of the village, his senses alert for any sign of the elusive figure he sought. It was not long before Sigurd's patience was rewarded, for as he wandered through the narrow streets and winding alleyways, he caught sight of a figure looming in the distance, a figure tall and imposing, with wild hair and piercing eyes that seemed to burn with an otherworldly fire. Drawing closer, Sigurd's heart quickened with anticipation, for he knew that he had finally come face to face with the legendary Hans of Iceland. With every fiber of his being, he braced himself for the encounter, steeling his nerves against the fear that threatened to overwhelm him. As he stood before Hans, Sigurd felt a sense of awe wash over him, a mixture of fear and admiration for the formidable figure who stood before him, a living embodiment of the legends that had brought him to this remote corner of the world. In a tense standoff, Sigurd summoned all of his courage and demanded answers from Hans, his voice steady despite the racing of his heart. But Hans remained silent, his gaze unwavering as he regarded Sigurd with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. For what seemed like an eternity, the two men stood locked in a silent battle of wills, each seeking to discern the intentions of the other. And though no words were spoken, an unspoken understanding passed between them, a recognition of the danger that lurked in the shadows, and the bond that united them in their quest for the truth. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the shadows lengthened, Sigurd knew that his encounter with Hans of Iceland was only the beginning of a journey that would take him to the very edge of the known world. With a sense of determination burning in his heart, he steeled himself for the trials that lay ahead, ready to face whatever challenges awaited him in the pursuit of truth and justice. Chapter 4: The Mystery Unravels. As Sigurd delved deeper into the heart of the Icelandic wilderness, his quest to uncover the truth behind the legend of Hans of Iceland led him down a winding path fraught with peril and uncertainty. Yet with each step he took, he grew ever more determined to unravel the mysteries that shrouded this enigmatic figure in darkness. Guided by whispers and half-truths, Sigurd journeyed from village to village, piecing together fragments of Hans's past like shards of a broken mirror. With each new revelation, the picture became clearer, and the truth more elusive. It was in a remote hamlet nestled amidst the towering peaks of the mountains that Sigurd first heard whispers of Hans's tragic past, a tale of betrayal and loss that had driven him to the brink of madness. As he listened to the villagers speak of Hans's tortured soul, Sigurd felt a pang of empathy stir within him, for he knew all too well the pain of grief and despair. Driven by a newfound sense of purpose, Sigurd pressed on, his determination unwavering in the face of the unknown. With each passing day, he drew closer to uncovering the truth behind the legend of Hans of Iceland, his mind racing with the possibilities that lay ahead. Then, at last, his efforts were rewarded, for in a chance encounter with an elderly hermit living on the edge of the wilderness, Sigurd stumbled upon a clue that would change everything. With trembling hands and a voice choked with emotion, the hermit spoke of a dark secret that had been buried beneath the icy depths of a frozen lake, a secret that held the key to unlocking the truth behind Hans's tragic past. With a sense of urgency burning in his heart, Sigurd set out on a perilous journey to uncover the secrets hidden beneath the frozen surface of the lake. Guided by the hermit's cryptic words, he braved treacherous terrain and bone-chilling cold, his determination unyielding in the face of adversity. And then, in the depths of the icy waters, he found it, a relic from a bygone era, a remnant of a time long forgotten. With trembling hands, Sigurd retrieved the artifact from its watery tomb, his heart pounding with anticipation as he realized the significance of his discovery. For in that moment, Sigurd knew that he held in his hands the key to unraveling the mystery that had haunted Hans of Iceland for so long. With a sense of purpose burning in his heart, he set out once more into the wilderness, ready to confront the truths that lay hidden beneath the surface of the legend. But little did he know that his quest would lead him down a path fraught with danger and deception, where the line between myth and reality blurred and the true nature of Hans of Iceland remained shrouded in darkness. As Sigurd ventured deeper into the unknown, he would soon come face to face with the terrifying reality of the legend he sought to unravel, and discover that some mysteries were better left untouched. Chapter 5 – Bonds of Brotherhood. As Sigurd delved deeper into the mystery surrounding Hans of Iceland, he found himself drawn ever closer to the enigmatic figure who had captured his imagination. With each passing day, his admiration for Hans grew, tempered by a growing sense of empathy for the pain and suffering that had shaped him into the man he had become. Driven by a desire to understand the truth behind the legend, Sigurd reached out to Hans with an offer of friendship, a gesture born of compassion and a shared sense of isolation in a world that had turned its back on them both. And though Hans remained wary at first, his defenses slowly began to crumble in the face of Sigurd's unwavering loyalty and steadfast determination. As they journeyed deeper into the wilderness together, Sigurd and Hans forged a bond that transcended the boundaries of kinship and blood. United by a shared sense of purpose and a mutual respect for one another's strengths and weaknesses, they faced each new challenge with courage and determination, their friendship growing stronger with each passing day. Yet amidst the dangers that lurked in the shadows, Sigurd could not shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at his conscience, a nagging doubt that whispered of secrets yet uncovered and truths left unspoken. And though he longed to trust in Hans's intentions, he knew that the darkness that had consumed him was not so easily banished. But as they journeyed deeper into the heart of the wilderness, Sigurd began to see glimpses of the man beneath the legend, a soul tormented by grief and despair, seeking solace in the solitude of the wilderness. And though he could not undo the past, Sigurd vowed to stand by Hans's side, offering him the forgiveness and redemption he so desperately sought. In moments of quiet reflection, as they sat beneath the vast expanse of the Icelandic sky, Sigurd and Hans shared their hopes and fears, their dreams and aspirations, their laughter and tears. And though their journey was far from over, they knew that as long as they had each other, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage and determination. For in the end, it was not the legends or the mysteries that defined their journey, but the bonds of brotherhood forged in the crucible of adversity, a bond that would endure long after the echoes of their footsteps had faded into the silence of the wilderness. And as they stood together beneath the unforgiving gaze of the northern lights, Sigurd and Hans knew that their friendship was a beacon of hope in a world consumed by darkness, guiding them ever onward in their quest for redemption and peace. Chapter 6: The King's Decree. As Sigurd and Hans journeyed deeper into the wilderness, their bond of friendship grew stronger with each passing day. Yet unbeknownst to them, their quest had not gone unnoticed by those in positions of power and authority. In the grand halls of the king's court, whispers of the legendary figure known as Hans of Iceland had reached the ears of the monarch himself, stirring a sense of unease and trepidation among his advisors. Concerned by the threat that Hans posed to the stability of the kingdom, the king issued a decree calling for his capture, dead or alive. With a heavy heart and a sense of duty weighing upon him, Sigurd's loyalty was put to the test as he grappled with the implications of the king's command. For though he had pledged his friendship to Hans, Sigurd knew that he could not ignore the king's decree without risking the wrath of the crown. And so, torn between his loyalty to his friend and his allegiance to his sovereign, Sigurd found himself faced with an impossible choice. As the days passed and the king's decree spread throughout the land, Sigurd and Hans found themselves pursued by agents of the crown, men sworn to uphold the law at any cost. With each passing day, the noose tightened around their necks, and the shadows grew darker with the threat of capture looming ever closer. Yet despite the danger that surrounded them, Sigurd refused to abandon his friend to his fate. With a steely determination burning in his heart, he vowed to stand by Hans's side no matter the cost, his loyalty unwavering in the face of adversity. But as the king's soldiers closed in, Sigurd knew that their time together was running out. With the weight of the king's decree hanging over their heads like a sword of Damocles, he braced himself for the inevitable confrontation that awaited them, knowing that their friendship would be put to the ultimate test in the crucible of battle. And so, as they stood together beneath the unforgiving gaze of the northern lights, Sigurd and Hans prepared to face their destiny head-on, their bond of brotherhood unbroken by the trials that lay ahead. For in the end, they knew that no decree of kings or armies of men could ever extinguish the flame of friendship that burned within their hearts, a flame that would guide them through the darkest of times and illuminate the path to a brighter future. Chapter 7: A Race Against Time. As Sigurd and Hans found themselves pursued by the king's soldiers, they knew that their time together was running short. With every passing moment, the noose tightened around their necks, and the shadow of the king's decree loomed ever larger over their heads. Yet despite the danger that surrounded them, they remained undeterred in their determination to stand together against the forces that sought to tear them apart. With the king's soldiers hot on their heels, Sigurd and Hans were forced to navigate treacherous terrain and hostile territory in their desperate bid to evade capture. Through dense forests and rugged mountains, across icy rivers and snow-covered plains, they pressed on, their hearts filled with a fierce determination to outwit their pursuers at every turn. Yet as they journeyed deeper into the heart of the wilderness, they soon realized that their adversaries were not the only threat they faced. For lurking in the shadows, hidden from sight, were dangers far greater than any they had encountered before, dangers that tested the limits of their courage and resolve. From ravenous wolves prowling in the darkness to treacherous ravines yawning at their feet, Sigurd and Hans faced one peril after another in their race against time. Yet through it all, they stood united, their bond of brotherhood serving as a beacon of hope in the face of despair. With each obstacle they overcame, Sigurd and Hans grew ever more resolute in their determination to defy the king's decree and forge their own destiny. For though the odds were stacked against them, they refused to surrender to the forces of tyranny and oppression that sought to crush their spirits. And so, as they pressed on through the endless expanse of the wilderness, Sigurd and Hans knew that their journey was far from over. With the king's soldiers still in hot pursuit, they braced themselves for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that their friendship would carry them through even the darkest of times. For in the end, it was not the strength of arms or the might of armies that would determine their fate, but the indomitable spirit of two souls bound together by a bond that could not be broken. And as they raced against time to outrun their pursuers, Sigurd and Hans knew that as long as they had each other, they could face whatever trials lay ahead with courage and determination. Chapter 8: The Final Confrontation. As Sigurd and Hans neared the end of their perilous journey, they found themselves confronted by the king's soldiers, their swords drawn and gleaming in the harsh light of the Icelandic sun. With grim determination etched upon their faces, the soldiers advanced upon Sigurd and Hans, their eyes ablaze with a fervor born of loyalty to their king. For Sigurd, the sight of the soldiers closing in filled him with a sense of dread and apprehension. He knew that the final confrontation was at hand, and that the outcome would determine not only his own fate, but the fate of his friend Hans as well. Yet despite the overwhelming odds stacked against them, Sigurd refused to back down, his resolve unyielding in the face of adversity. Beside him, Hans stood tall and resolute, his gaze fixed upon their adversaries with a steely determination that belied the turmoil raging within his heart. For though he had faced many battles in his lifetime, none had tested his courage and resolve quite like this one. And as he squared his shoulders and prepared to meet his fate head-on, he knew that he would do whatever it took to protect his friend and companion, Sigurd. With a deafening roar, the two sides clashed in a cacophony of steel and fury, the clash of swords echoing through the air like thunder on the wind. Sigurd fought with all the skill and strength he possessed, his blade flashing in the sunlight as he parried blow after blow from his adversaries. Beside him, Hans fought with a ferocity born of desperation, his massive frame a whirlwind of destruction as he laid waste to all who dared to stand in his path. Yet despite their valiant efforts, the odds were stacked against them, and the king's soldiers seemed to have the upper hand. With each passing moment, Sigurd and Hans found themselves pushed back, their defenses crumbling beneath the relentless onslaught of their adversaries. But just as it seemed that all hope was lost, an unexpected ally emerged from the shadows, turning the tide of the battle in their favor. With a mighty cry, a band of rebels descended upon the battlefield, their swords flashing in the sunlight as they laid waste to the king's soldiers with a fury born of righteous indignation. Caught off guard by the sudden turn of events, the king's soldiers faltered, their ranks broken and scattered like leaves in the wind. And as Sigurd and Hans stood victorious amidst the chaos and confusion, they knew that their journey was far from over. For though they had emerged triumphant from the final confrontation, they knew that greater challenges lay ahead. Yet with their bond of brotherhood stronger than ever, they braced themselves for the trials that awaited them, ready to face whatever challenges came their way with courage and determination. And as they stood together beneath the vast expanse of the Icelandic sky, Sigurd and Hans knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, united in their quest for redemption and peace. Chapter 9: Redemption and Forgiveness. In the aftermath of the final confrontation, Sigurd and Hans found themselves standing amidst the wreckage of battle, their bodies weary and battered, yet their spirits unbroken. With the dust settling around them and the echoes of clashing swords fading into the distance, they surveyed the scene before them, their minds filled with a sense of disbelief at the events that had transpired. For though they had emerged victorious from the chaos of battle, the cost had been high, and the scars of war ran deep. Yet amidst the devastation and destruction, there remained a glimmer of hope, a hope born of the knowledge that they had stood together against the forces of tyranny and oppression and emerged triumphant against all odds. As they took stock of the situation, Sigurd and Hans were approached by the leader of the rebel band who had come to their aid in their hour of need. With a weary smile and a voice filled with gratitude, the rebel leader offered them his thanks, expressing his admiration for their bravery and resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. Moved by the sincerity of his words, Sigurd and Hans felt a sense of kinship with the rebels who had fought alongside them, their bond of brotherhood strengthened by the trials they had endured together. And as they shared stories of their past and dreams for the future, they realized that they were not alone in their quest for redemption and peace. With the battle won and their enemies vanquished, Sigurd and Hans turned their attention to the task of rebuilding the shattered land and healing the wounds of war. Together with the rebels, they set about the arduous process of restoring order and stability to the kingdom, their hearts filled with a sense of purpose and determination to create a brighter future for all who called Iceland home. Yet amidst the chaos and destruction that surrounded them, Sigurd and Hans found themselves confronted by the ghosts of their past, memories of pain and loss that threatened to consume them with despair. And though they struggled to come to terms with the darkness that lurked within their hearts, they knew that they could not face it alone. In moments of quiet reflection, Sigurd and Hans shared their deepest fears and regrets, laying bare the scars of their past in a bid to find solace and redemption. And as they opened their hearts to one another, they discovered that forgiveness was the key to healing the wounds that had long festered within them. With tears streaming down their faces and their hearts heavy with emotion, Sigurd and Hans embraced one another in a gesture of reconciliation and forgiveness, their bond of brotherhood stronger than ever before. And as they stood together beneath the vast expanse of the Icelandic sky, they knew that their journey was far from over. For though the road ahead would be fraught with challenges and obstacles, they faced it with courage and determination, knowing that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any obstacle and emerge victorious against all odds. And as they set out once more into the unknown, their hearts filled with hope and optimism for the future, they knew that redemption and forgiveness were not just words, but guiding principles that would light the way on their journey to a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 10: A New Beginning. As Sigurd and Hans stood together beneath the vast expanse of the Icelandic sky, their hearts filled with a sense of hope and optimism for the future. With the wounds of the past slowly healing and the spectre of darkness banished from their midst, they knew that they stood on the brink of a new beginning, a chance to forge their own destiny and create a brighter future for themselves and their homeland. With the support of the rebels who had fought alongside them in the final confrontation, Sigurd and Hans set about the monumental task of rebuilding the shattered kingdom. Together, they worked tirelessly to restore order and stability to the land, laying the foundations for a new era of prosperity and peace. Amidst the chaos and destruction that had ravaged the land, Sigurd and Hans found hope in the resilience of the people who called Iceland home. From the humble farmers who toiled in the fields to the craftsmen who plied their trade in the bustling marketplaces, they witnessed firsthand the indomitable spirit of the human heart, a spirit that refused to be broken by adversity and hardship. United by a common goal and a shared sense of purpose, Sigurd and Hans led by example, inspiring others to join them in their quest to rebuild their homeland from the ashes of war. With each passing day, their efforts bore fruit, and the once desolate landscape began to flourish once more, teeming with life and vitality. Yet amidst the hustle and bustle of their newfound responsibilities, Sigurd and Hans never lost sight of the bond of brotherhood that united them. Together, they faced the challenges of leadership with courage and determination, their friendship serving as a guiding light in the darkest of times. As the seasons turned and the years passed, Sigurd and Hans watched with pride as the kingdom they had fought so hard to protect flourished under their leadership. From the bustling cities that sprang up in the wake of their efforts to the verdant fields that stretched as far as the eye could see, they saw the fruits of their labor reflected in the smiles of the people they had sworn to protect. Yet amidst the joy and celebration that filled the air, Sigurd and Hans knew that their journey was far from over. For though the scars of the past had healed, they knew that new challenges lay ahead, waiting to test their resolve and determination. But as they stood together, hand in hand, beneath the vast expanse of the Icelandic sky, they knew that they were ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. For in each other, they had found the strength and courage to overcome any obstacle, and in their bond of brotherhood, they had discovered the true meaning of redemption and forgiveness. And so, as they set out once more into the unknown, their hearts filled with hope and optimism for the future, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their quest for a brighter tomorrow. And as they journeyed forth into the great unknown, the legend of Sigurd and Hans of Iceland lived on, a testament to the enduring power of friendship, courage, and the indomitable spirit of the human heart.